Jupiter has just come out of the very slow moving, earthy, deliberate sign of Taurus. It's now hit that mutable air sign, that intellectual, communicative nature of Gemini. It's going to be there for the next year. It's going to affect us all. So in this video, I'm going to investigate what that means for us globally as well as individually. And I'm also going to tie in the tarot archetypes to try to offer a little bit of a different perspective or a new way of understanding what this means. So let's get into it. Jupiter represents our capacity to think outside the box. This is our nature and our capacity to come up with more abstract concepts and way of thinking. This is Jupiter's job. It keeps us growing. It keeps us moving and evolving. It rules things like philosophy, religion, science, higher education, any and all things that push us mentally and spiritually beyond the boundaries of the self. So now tie that into Gemini. Gemini, mutable air, the intellect, the capacity to communicate, the desire to communicate, connection with others, very, very much a social sign. So what does that mean for us? Let me back up for a second. Let's talk about Jupiter in the sense of it being one of the outer planets. So again, the planets are divided into two sections. The inner planets, Sun, Moon, all the way up to Mars. The inner planets affect us more individually. Jupiter through Pluto, outer planets affect us more as a society, more globally. Yes, as you've heard me mention many times, they also affect us individually, especially depending on where Jupiter is in our own chart or what other aspects are being made by the transiting Jupiter and how that's hitting the various planets in your individual chart. That will affect you on a more personal level. But what we're talking about here is how it's going to affect us globally. So let's think about it. If it moves out of the more earthy, personal care sign of Taurus, sort of getting more into that fixed earth nature of how am I structuring my life? How am I structuring what it is that I believe in, my philosophies of life? Now we're gonna wipe it clean. We're gonna knock all of that down in a sense and be open to new, innovative, exciting, experimental ideas, because that's who Gemini is. Gemini wants to learn. Gemini wants to dig in, to understand. One thing to keep in mind, however, is it being in the sign of Gemini, Jupiter being in the sign of Gemini, it's considered in its detriment, which doesn't sound great, right? Meaning it's not fully in its power in the sign. Why is that? Because it's in its opposite. Jupiter naturally rules Sagittarius, the very free form, spiritual, expanded, moving, Sagittarian nature, the 9th house energy, whereas like now it's in its opposite in the Mercury dominated, Mercury ruled Gemini. So really the way to consider this is you think globally, you think on a massive global scale, but you act within your community, you act locally, expand your concepts, expand your ideas, and then apply them in your day-to-day relations. And this is another thing I want to bring up about this. This is all about human one-on-one communication. This is about setting down the phone, setting down any of your devices, anything that connects you on more of that superficial, maybe that's not the word, but the disconnected level that technology brings us. And this is about talking on a human level, which is fantastic because in my humble opinion, one of the biggest issues that we face in the world today is this disconnect. It is this encouragement and inability for us to be together on a human level, for us to be connected to nature, for us to feel the earth under our feet and to feel and touch the person next to us. Let's have this as an opportunity. Let this be an opportunity to act more in that way. And very likely you're going to have that desire to do so and to be a part of situations that allow that allow you to feel the heart, allow you to feel the connection with other people, which is so fantastic because this, I believe, and I feel will be such a healing part of the planet, such a healing part for ourselves and what this transit is all about. This is a time to learn new things. This is a time to strengthen the skills that you already have, yet push them further. Push them beyond into new realms, innovative ways, things you haven't even considered. And a lot of these ideas will likely come up through bouncing them off of other people, for communicating with them. Again, this is the Gemini energy. Let's tie in the tarot real quick. Jupiter in the tarot, represented by the Wheel of Fortune. Right there you see one of the keys of Jupiter, fortune, luck. But the main aspect of it is the wheel. What it's talking about here is that cyclical nature, the movement, the spinning, the whirling. Really what it's tying into is the original movement, whirling motion, expressing out from the creative life force energy into the world. This energy is what pushes and expands the boundaries of self into new, innovative ideas that we were just talking about. And again, remember, Jupiter represents our capacity and our ability to expand into abstract concepts, things we had never considered before, spiritual connections that come down and we can manifest them here in the world around us. Another area that ties in is Gemini being represented in the tarot by the Lover's card. The main key to this is, as you can see in this card, the man representing self-conscious, our conscious self, mental, active mind, looks at the woman in this card representing subconsciousness, the deeper, emotional, receptive nature of life. And the woman looks at the angel representing superconsciousness. That is how we connect to the spiritual essence and the superconscious values that we then bring through and manifest into the world. So it's very fascinating to tie in and use the tarot cards when understanding these transits. It's something you're going to likely see me start to tie in a lot more as I do these videos, because tarot is really here to help us in so many ways if we only know how to use them. Again, these are called tarot keys, and there's a reason for that. They are keys that unlock doorways into new aspects, into unseen parts of yourself that we can then apply to our lives, to the world around us. And so it's actually a perfect time with Jupiter entering Gemini to bring these ideas forward through my channel to help you understand new, innovative ideas in your own life, in your own channels, and bring them out into the world, bring that truth out into the world. Likely during this time, with the Jupiter Gemini energy, the whole planet, the whole world is going to seem like an open book of ideas and knowledge and a place to learn any and all things that you may seek, that you may want to understand. I mean, in many ways, it's already like this with YouTube, for example. You can learn any and all things on YouTube. There are likely going to be other avenues that we hadn't even thought of before that are going to come out, that are going to expand through us, again, as we use that Lover's card energy of Gemini, moving through our subconscious and connecting to our superconscious ideas. We will bring them down, and through us as people connecting with one another, we bring them into existence and start to build, start to create new ideas and a new world. So get out there, get creative, try new things, experiment. This is a time to be brave. This is a time you can change your whole life, but you have to be brave to walk into those new waters, those new territories, to expand into new truths of who you are, to expand yourself, expand your soul, expand your mind, expand your spirit. Gemini, very mental, whereas Jupiter, yes, it's higher mental, but it rules, again, things like spirituality, religion, soul expansion. It's mental and soul expansion. Think big, think globally, think universally, but act locally. Act in your families, in your communities. Communicate with one another, but not through those devices, not through email and texting and the computers, but rather heart to heart, human to human, eyes to eyes. talk to one another. Gemini rules communication, rules talking. When you expand during this next year, it's going to be in Gemini for pretty much a year exactly. Use your power of communication, use your word. Get creative through anything that expands that capacity to express ideas, thoughts, words. Go into poetry, go into songwriting, novels, podcasts. Communicate your truth, communicate your ideas. And again, be brave with it. Step out of fear, step into the heart, into love, move forward into your light. It's truly my pleasure to make these videos for you. Thank you for listening. If you like this, please hit that like button below, leave a comment, and I'll do my best to get to those comments. I love conversing with you guys. Thank you so very much. I will see you in the next video.